like to welcome you tonight. My name is George Tigner, and I have directed tonight's production of Harvey. And I encourage you to have a good time and laugh and giggle and, sit still if that's what you want to do. But here's one thing I really would appreciate, and so would the actors on stage, and that is if you have a telephone or other electronic device, please turn it off so we don't disturb the people on stage. I think we'll all have a lot better time if we can do that. So again, welcome, enjoy yourselves. The play runs about 2 hours. There's an intermission after Act 1, and the house lights will come up. You'll have a 10-minute intermission, and then you're back in here for the rest of the show. So have a good time. Enjoy.
Mrs. Simmons? Mrs. Simmons is my mother, but she has guests this afternoon. Who is this? Hang on just a minute. Just a moment.
Mother! Mother! Yes, dear. Telephone. Oh, no, dear. Not with all of them in here. Say I'm busy.
Mother, it's the society editor of the Evening Newsbeat.
Oh, the society editor. Oh, she's very important. Good afternoon, Mrs. Ellerby. Yes, this is Vita Simmons. Yes, a tea reception for the members of the Wednesday Forum. Program tea, you might say. My mother, the late Marcilla Piney Dowd, pioneer culture leader, came here by Oxteam as a child and founded the Wednesday Forum. How many would you say, Myrtle?
Oh, 75 at least. Say 100.
75. Miss Twistberry is a soloist, accompanied by Miss Wilda McCurdy, accompanist.
Mother, please. Miss Tewksbury's almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
What if they don't give her a lot of applause?
I've known her for years. She'll do an encore. You might say I'm entertaining with my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. Myrtle, what color would you call that?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Miss Myrtle May Simmons looked charming in a modest Rancho Rose tone crepe, picked up at the girdle with a touch of magenta on emerald. Oh, I wish you could see her, Mrs. Ellerby.
Mother, please. She's almost finished, and where's the cateress?
Everything is ready. The minute she's done singing, we'll open the parlor room doors and start pouring. The parlors and halls were festooned with smilax. Yes, festooned. Oh, yes, that's right. This is the first party we've had in years. There's a reason for it, but I don't want it in the papers. We all have our troubles, Mrs. Ellerby. The guest list? Oh, yes.
Mother, come.
Oh, if you excuse me now, Mrs. Ellerby, I'll call you right back.
Mother, Miss Chauvenet just came in.
Miss Eugene Chauvenet? Senior? Oh, her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
So that explains where she got the hat.
Oh, Myrtle, you must be nice to Miss Chauvenet. She has a grandson about your age.
What good will it do with Uncle Elwood?
Oh, now, Myrtle, remember, the point of this whole party is to get you started. We'll work through the older women to the younger groups.
We can't have anyone here in the evenings, and that's when men come to see you, in the evenings. The only reason we can have a party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood is playing pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Thank God for the firehouse.
Oh, I know, Myrtle, and they'll just have to invite you out, and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle, you've got so much to offer. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, there's something sweet about every girl. And a man takes that sweetness and look what he does with it. Oh, but you've got to find someone, Myrtle. That's all there is to it.
If I do, they'll say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle is L.P. Dowd, the biggest screwball in town. L.P. Dowd and his pellet.
You promised.
All right. Let's bring them into the dining room.
Now, when the members come in here and you make your welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother, be sure to do this.
And then after that, I mention my Uncle Elwood and say a few words about his pal, Harvey. Damn, Harvey!
Oh, Myrtle May, that's right. Let all the members of the Wednesday Forum hear you. You said that name. You promised you wouldn't say that name, and you said it.
I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know Uncle Elwood won't come home and introduce Harvey to everybody?
Oh, Myrtle, this is
sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Oh, must I remind you, Myrtle, that Elwood is not living with us. We are living with him.
Living with him and Harvey. Did grandmother know about Harvey?
Oh, I've wondered about that. She never did write me if she did.
Why did she have to leave all of her property to Uncle Elwood?
Oh, well, I suppose it's because she died in his arms. People are sentimental to things like that.
You always say that and it doesn't make sense. She couldn't have written her will after she died, could she?
Oh, don't be didactic, Myrtle May. It's not becoming of a young lady, and men loathe it. And now don't forget to wave your hand.
I'll do my best.
Oh my, Miss Tewksbury's voice is certainly fading.
Not fast enough.
A lovely Miss Tewksbury, perfectly lovely. I loved it.
Oh, hold on a moment. I have to answer the phone. Make yourself comfortable, Harvey. Hello? Oh, you've got the wrong number. But how are you anyways? This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. I'll do? Well, thank you. And what might your name be, my dear? Oh, Miss Elsie Greenwald. Harvey, it's Miss Elsie Greenwald on the phone. How are you today, Miss Greenwald? Well, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, yes, my dear? Well, I'd be happy to join your club. I belong to several clubs now. The University Club, the Country Club, and the Pinochle Club down at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Oh, I spend a good deal of my time there, or over at Charlie's place or Eddie's bar. And what might your club be, Miss Greenwald? Harvey, I can get the Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, and the Open Road for Boys for 2 years, for $6.25. No, that sounds fine to me. I'll join it. How does it sound to you, Harvey? Harvey says it sounds fine to him too, Miss Greenwald. Oh, yes, 2 subscriptions. I'll mail everything to this address. I hope I'll have the pleasure of meeting you sometime, my dear. Harvey, Miss Greenwald said she would like to meet me. When? When would you like to meet me, Miss Greenwald? Oh, why not right now? My sister seems to be having a few friends in it, and we'd consider it an honor if you would come and join us. Oh, my sister will be delighted. 343 Temple Drive. I hope to see you in a very few minutes. Goodbye now. She's coming right over. Harvey, don't you think we ought to freshen up? Yes, so do I.
Oh, I must find that guest list and read it to Mrs. Ellerby.
Mother, Miss Chauvenet is asking for you. Here's Mother, Miss Chauvenet. Here she is.
Vita Louise Simmons, I thought you were dead.
Oh, Aunt Ethel. No, I'm very much alive, thank you.
And this full-grown girl is your daughter? I've known you since you were a baby.
I know.
What is your name?
Myrtle, Aunt Ethel. Myrtle May. We're the 2 sisters of her father. He's dead. That's what confused you.
Where's Elwood?
Oh, Elwood couldn't be here this afternoon, Aunt Ethel.
Elwood isn't here?
No.
Oh, shame on him. That was the main reason I came.
Oh, come, Aunt Ethel. There are loads of people anxious to speak to you.
Do you realize, Vita, it's been years since I've seen Elwood?
No. Where does the time go?
But I don't understand it. I was only saying to Mr. Chauvenet only the other night, what on earth do you suppose happened to Elwood Dowd? I rarely see him at the club dances anymore, and I haven't seen him at a horse show in years. Does Elwood see anybody these days?
Oh, yes, Aunt Ethel. Elwood sees somebody. Oh, yes.
Your Uncle Elwood, child, is one of my favorite people. Always has been.
Yes, I remember.
Is Elwood happy, Vita?
Oh, Aunt Ethel, Elwood is very happy. You don't need to worry about Elwood. Why, there's Mrs. Frank Cummings just came in the door. Wouldn't you like to speak to her?
But she looks ghastly. Hasn't she failed, though?
Oh, if you think she looks badly, you should see him.
Is that so? I must have them over. Oh, she looks frightful. I thought she was dead. Now, what about tea, Vita?
Oh, certainly. If you will forgive me, I will precede you.
Elwood! Elwood Dowd, bless your heart.
Oh, Ethel, what a pleasure it is to come into a room and find a beautiful woman waiting for me.
Oh, Elwood, you haven't changed.
Come along, Aunt Ethel. You mustn't miss the party.
There's punch if you don't like tea.
But I do like tea. Stop pulling at me, you two. Elwood, what night next week can you come to dinner?
Oh, any night at all, Aunt Ethel. I'd be delighted.
Elwood, there's some mail for you today. I brought it upstairs to your room.
Did you, Vita? That was nice of you. Aunt Ethel, I'd like you to meet Harvey. As you can see, he's a puka. Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvenet. We always called her Aunt Ethel. She's one of my oldest and dearest friends. What? That's the one. She's the one. Yeah. Harvey says he would have known you anywhere, Aunt Ethel. You both look lovely. Come along, Harvey. We must say hello to all of our friends. Aunt Ethel, I beg your pardon for just a moment.
What?
You're standing in his way. That's it. Uh-huh. You go on ahead without me, Harvey. I'll join you in a moment. Aunt Ethel, I can see you're disturbed about Harvey. Please don't be. He stares like that at everybody. But he liked you, I could tell. He liked you very much.
Some tea, perhaps?
No, not right now. I think I'll be running along.
I'm so sorry.
I'll be talking to you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, God! Oh, my God!
Myrtle, where are you going?
Up to my room. He's out there introducing Harvey to everybody. I can't face those people now. I'm a tired dead.
Come back here. Stay with me. We'll get him out of there and upstairs to his room.
I won't. I can't. I can't.
Come back here. Now pretend I'm fixing your corsage.
Oh, Mother.
We've got to. Pretend we're having a gay little chat. Oh, keep looking. And when you catch his eye, call me. He always comes when I call him. Now then, do you see him?
No, not yet. How do you do, Mrs. Cummings?
Smile, can't you have no pride? I'm smiling and he's my own brother.
Oh, Mother, people get run over by trucks every day. Why can't something like that happen to Uncle Elwood?
I'm ashamed of you, Myrtle. This thing is not your uncle's fault.
Ouch, you're sticking me with that pen.
That's Miss Elodie. Keep looking. Keep smiling.
Miss Cummings is leaving. Uncle Elwood wants to tell her what Harvey is. Oh, God.
Oh, hello? This is Vita Simmons. Should you come in the clothes you have on? What have you on? Who is this? But I don't know any Miss Greenwalds. Should you what? May I ask who invited you? Mr. Dowd. Well, thank you very much, just the same, but I believe there has been a mistake. Well, I never.
Never what?
One of your Uncle Elwood's friends asked if she could bring a quart of gin to the Wednesday form.
There he is. He's talking to Mrs. Halsey.
Is Harvey with him?
What a thing to ask. As if I can tell. As if anybody can tell but Uncle Elwood.
Elwood, dear, could I speak to you for a moment? Oh, Myrtle, I promise you that your uncle has disgraced us in this last time in this house. Oh, I'm going to do something I've never done before.
What did you mean just now when you said this wasn't Uncle Elwood's fault? If it's not his fault, whose is it?
Never you mind. I know whose fault it is. Now you, keep your head up and smile and go back in there as though nothing has happened.
No match for Uncle Elwood.
You'll see.
Mother is waiting for you.
Oh, Elwood, dear, could I speak to you for a moment, please?
Oh, yes, sister. Excuse me a moment, Harvey.
Oh, Elwood, would you mind sitting here and waiting for me until the party's over? I want to talk to you. It's very important.
Oh, of course, Vita. I have a few moments of spare time. You're perfectly free to all of them. Do you want Harvey to wait, too?
Oh, yes, Elwood, I certainly do.
Jane Austen. Oh, take a seat, Harvey. Vita says she wants to talk to us. She says it's important. I think she wants to congratulate us on the impression we made at her party. Jane Austen. What? Oh, no, deluxe edition. Limited. Drosset and Gunlap, the usual acknowledgments. Chapter 1.
Mrs. Simmons, 343 Temple Drive. Is that right? We were born and raised there. It's old, but we loved it. It's our home.
And you wish to enter your brother here at the sanitarium for treatment. Your brother's name?
Oh,
Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this isn't easy for any of us, but we have to go on just the same and hold our heads up high. That's what I keep telling Myrtle May, and that's what Myrtle May keeps telling me. Oh, she's heartbroken about her Uncle Elwood. Elwood P. Dowd. That's his name.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47, the last 24th of April. He's Taurus. Taurus the bull. I'm Leo, and Myrtle's on a cusp.
47. Is he married?
Oh no, Elwood never married. He always stayed home with Mother. He was a great homeboy.
And you have him with you now?
Oh, yes, he's in the taxi cab down in the driveway. I gave the driver $1 to watch him, but I didn't tell him why. Well, you can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson, would you step down the taxi in the driveway and ask Mr. Dowd if he'd be good enough to step up to room 24, South Wing G?
Ask him.
This is his sister, Mrs. Simmons.
How do? Why, certainly. Be glad to escort him.
Thank you.
The rates are here, Mrs. Simmons. You'll find them printed on the card.
Oh, that'll be taken care of by my mother's estate, the late Marcilla Piney Dowd. Judge Gaffney's our attorney.
And now I'll see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Dr. Sanderson? But I want to see Dr. Chumley himself.
Mrs. Simmons, Dr. Sanderson's the one who sees everyone. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
Well, he's still a psychiatrist, isn't he? He's still the head of this institution, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist? Oh, why, Dr. Chumley is more than that. He's a psychiatrist with a national reputation. Whenever people have mental breakdowns, at once they think of Dr. Chumley.
Well, that's his office, isn't it? Will you march right in there and tell him I'm out here? If he knows who's out here, he'll come.
Oh, I wouldn't dare disturb him, Miss Simmons. I'd be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't like being pushed off to someone's second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is nobody's second fiddle. He's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school very long, but Dr. Chumley tried out 12, and he kept Dr. Sanderson. He really is wonderful. To the patients.
Very well. Tell him I'm here.
Right away.
Vita, isn't this wonderful? Mrs. Simmons.
Oh, you startled me. You're Dr. Sanderson?
Yes. Would you please sit down?
Oh, thank you. I hope you don't think I'm jumpy like this all the time, but
Miss Kelly tells me you're concerned about your brother. Dowd is the name? Elwood P. Dowd.
yes, Doctor, he for me, Doctor?
Naturally, these things aren't easy for the families of patients. I understand.
Oh, what's what Elwood's doing to himself, Doctor? That's the thing. Myrtle May has a right to nice friends. She's young and her whole life is ahead of her. That's my daughter.
Your daughter, how long has it been since you noticed any peculiarity in your brother's actions?
Oh, I noticed it right away when Mother died. Then Myrtle May and I came back home from Des Moines. I could see that he
That he what? Oh, take your time and don't strain. Let it come. I'll wait for it.
Everything I say to you is confidential, isn't it?
That's understood.
Because it's a slap in the face to the community. Oh, the way Elwood's acting now.
I'm not a gossip, Mrs. Simmons. I'm a psychiatrist.
Oh, well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
To excess? Well, don't you call it excess when a man never lets a day go by without stepping into one of those cheap taverns? Oh, sitting around with all the riffraff and people you never heard of, inviting them to the house, giving them food and money. And here I am trying to get Myrtle May started with a nice group of young people. If that's not excess, Doctor, I'm sure I don't know what excess is.
I didn't doubt your statement, Mrs. Simmons. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Well, I say yes, definitely Elwood drinks. And that's why I want him committed out here permanently, because I cannot stand another day of that Harvey. Oh, Myrtle May and I have to set a place at the table for Harvey. We have to move over the sofa and make room for Harvey. We have to answer the telephone when Elwood calls and asks to speak to Harvey. Oh, and this afternoon, with Miss Chauvenet there, oh, wouldn't it have been a bit kinder of Mother to have written and told us about Harvey? Be honest now, don't you think it would have?
I really couldn't answer
Well,
that.
I can't. Yes, it would have.
This person you call Harvey, just who is he?
He's a rabbit.
Perhaps, but just who is he? Some companion, someone your brother has picked up in one of these bars, of whom you disapprove?
Doctor, I've been telling you, Harvey is a rabbit. A big white rabbit, 6 feet high or 6 feet and a half. Oh, heaven knows I ought to know. He's been around the house long enough.
Let me understand this. You say...
Doctor, must I be forbidding myself? My brother insists that his closest friend is a big white rabbit. This rabbit is named Harvey. Oh, Doctor, don't you understand? He and Elwood go every place together. Elwood buys railroad tickets, theater tickets for the both of them. Oh, as I told Myrtle May, if your uncle was so lonesome he had to bring something home, why couldn't he bring home something human? Oh, he has me, doesn't he? He has Myrtle May, doesn't he? Oh, Doctor, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone else in the world before. Every once in a while, I see that big white rabbit myself. Isn't that terrible? I've never even told Myrtle May.
Mrs. Simmons.
What's more, he's never been as big as Elwood says he is. Oh, but don't tell anyone, Doctor. I'm ashamed of it.
You've been under a great nervous strain recently.
Oh, yes, I have.
Grief over your mother's death. Depressed you considerably?
Nobody knows how much.
Been losing sleep.
Oh, how could anybody sleep with this going on?
Short-tempered. Over trifles.
Well, you try living with those two and see how your temper holds up.
Loss of an appetite.
How could anybody sleep with Harvey and Elwood at the table? Oh, I'm through with it. I'll sell the house, be appointed conservator of the Elwood estate, and Myrtle May and I can entertain our friends in peace. Oh, it's just too much, Doctor. I can't take it.
Of course it is. You're tired.
Oh, yes, I am.
You've been worrying a great deal.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. I can't help it.
And now I'm going to help you.
Oh, Doctor.
Just sit there quietly. I'll be right back.
I'll just go down to the taxi and get Elwood's things.
Why didn't somebody answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you, Doctor.
I rang and... Mrs. Simmons? Sound the gong, Wilson. That poor one must not leave the grounds.
She made a getaway, huh, Doc?
Her condition is serious. Go after her.
I can't believe it.
Henry, main gate. Dr. Sanderson, allow no one out of the main gate. We're looking for a patient. Shouldn't have left her alone. But nobody answered the buzzer.
Wilson was in South, Doctor.
What do we have available?
Number 13, Upper West R is ready, Doctor.
Have her taken there immediately. I will prescribe preliminary treatment. I must contact her brother. Dowd is the name. Get him on the phone, please, Miss Kelly.
But Doctor, I didn't know it was a woman who needed the treatment. She said it was for her brother.
Of course she did. It's the oldest dodge in the world, used by a cunning type of psychopath. She apparently knew her brother was about to come in and commit her, so she came in to discredit him. Get him on the phone, please, Miss Kelly.
But Doctor, I thought the woman was all right, so I had Wilson take her brother up to room 24, South Wing G. He's there now.
You had Wilson taking the brother. No gags, Miss Kelly, you're not serious, are you?
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, well, if you're sorry, that fixes everything.
I'll do it, Doctor, I'll do it. Mrs. Dumpy, would you unlock the door to room 24 and give Mr. Dowd his clothes back?
And ask him to step down the office right away.
And ask him to step down the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake and Dr. Sanderson wants to explain.
Explain? Apologize!
Thank heaven they hadn't put him in the hydro tub yet. She'll let him out.
Beautiful and dumb, almost too good to be true.
Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. Judge Gaffney called to say Mrs. Simmons and her brother would be out here and what... You don't have to be sarcastic.
Oh, don't I? Stop worrying. We'll squirm out of this some way.
Oh, where are you going?
I've got to tell the chief about this. He may want to handle the situation himself.
He'll be furious. He'll die. I know he will. And then he'll terminate me.
The responsibility is all mine, Miss Kelly.
No, that was all my fault, Doctor.
I never mention your name, except in my sleep.
But this man, Dowd.
Keep him here. I'll be right back.
But what shall I say to him? What shall I do? Oh, he'll be furious.
Look, he'll probably be fit to be tied, but he's a man, isn't he?
I guess so. His name is Mr.
We'll go into your old routine. You know, the eyes, the swoosh, the works. I'm immune, but I've seen it work on some people, some of the patients out here. Keep him here, Kelly, even if you have to do a strip tease.
Oh! Well, all the wonderful things to say! Oh, you're wonderful, Dr. Sanderson! Well, you're just about the most wonderful person I've ever met in my entire life!
Yeah, but, how about give me a hand here just a second?
What?
That's Simmons' dame.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whistle. She was coming along the path, humming a little tune. Well, I jumped up behind a tree. And I said, sister, there's a man wants to see you. Should have heard her scream. She's wacky, all right.
Take her to number 13, Upper West Arm.
She's there now. Brought her in through the diet kitchen. She was kicking and screaming like hell. I'll hold her down if you come and undress her.
Just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to stay here until her brother comes down.
Make it snap.
Oh, you're Mr. Dowd?
Elwood P.
I'm Miss Kelly.
Let me give you one of my cards. Now, if you want to call me at that one. But don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Thank you.
Oh, perfectly all right. If you happen to lose it, don't worry. I have plenty more.
Won't you have a chair, please, Mr. Dowd?
Oh, thank you. I'll have two. Allow me.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to speak to you. He'll be here in a minute. Won't you please be seated?
After you, my dear.
Oh, I can't. Thank you. I'm in and out all the time, but you mustn't mind me. Please, sit down.
After you.
Could I get you a magazine to look at?
Oh, no. I'd much rather look at you if you don't mind. You really are very lovely.
Thank you. Some people don't seem to think so.
Some people are blind. Well, that is very often brought to my attention. Oh, and now, Miss Kelly,
Mr. Dowd!
well, Elwood P.
Mr. Dowd, I'm Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Chumley's assistant out here.
Well, good for you. I'm glad to know you. How are you today, Doctor?
That's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. Please, sit down.
after Miss Kelly.
Sit down, Kelly. Is that chair quite comfortable?
Oh, yes, thank you. Would you care to try it?
No. Thank you. How about an ashtray? Could we get Mr. Dowd an ashtray? Is it too warm in here? Would you like me to open a window?
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson wants to know if he should open a window.
Oh, that's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life for him.
Now then, Dowd, I can see you're not the type of person to be taken in by any high-flown phrases or beating about the bush.
Well, is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage here. You know it, we know it. Let's lay our cards on the table.
Oh, that certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
Best way in the long run. People are people, no matter where you go.
Oh, well, that is very often the case.
And being human are therefore liable to mistake. Miss Kelly and I have made a mistake here this afternoon, and we'd like to explain it to you.
It wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault. It was mine.
A human failing, as I said.
Well, nevertheless, I find it very interesting. You and Miss Kelly here this afternoon, you say?
Oh, we do hope you understand, Mr. Dowd.
Well, of course. These things are often the basis of a long and warm friendship.
And the responsibility is, of course, not hers, but mine.
Well, your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now, if I had seen your sister first, this would have been an entirely different story.
Oh, now there you surprise me. Well, I think the world and all of Vita, but I had supposed she'd seen her day.
Not attach any blame to her. She is a very sick woman. Ridiculous.
That about me, I get along fine.
Exactly. But your sister had spoke to Miss Kelly, and there had been a call from your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Oh, yes, I know him. Know his wife, too. Nice people.
Is there anything I could get you?
Oh, what did you have in mind?
A light. Here, let me give you a light. Your sister was extremely nervous. She plunged right away into a heated tirade on your drinking.
Oh, that was Vita.
She became hysterical.
Well, I tell Vita not to worry about that. I'll take care of that.
Exactly. Oh, I suppose you take a drink now and again, the same as the rest of us.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm like him right now.
As a matter of fact, so would I. But your sister's attitude to the whole drinking matter was entirely too intense. Does your sister drink?
No, Doctor. I don't believe Vita's ever taken a drink in her life.
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I think she has and does constantly.
Well, I am certainly surprised.
But it's not her alcoholism that's going to be the basis of my diagnosis. It's much more serious. It's when she began talking so emotionally about this big white rabbit, Harvey. Yes, I believe she called him Harvey.
Harvey is his name.
She claimed you were persecuting her with this Harvey.
Well, Vita shouldn't feel that way. I'm not persecuting her with Harvey. Oh, and now I really must insist that I...
Let me make my point first. Your sister's troubles didn't spring up overnight. It stems from trauma.
From what?
From trauma, spelled T-R-A-U-M-A. It means shock. Nothing unusual about it. There's birth trauma, the shock of the act of being born.
Well, that's the one we never get over.
You have a nice sense of humor. Hasn't he, Miss Kelly?
Oh, yes, of course, Doctor.
Oh, may I say the same about both of you?
So she must be, so her condition is serious, but I can help her. She must remain out here temporarily.
Well, I've always wanted Vita to have everything she wants.
Exactly.
Oh, but I wouldn't want her to stay out here unless she liked it here and wanted to stay out here.
Of course. Did Wilson get what he went after?
Yes, Doctor.
And what was Mrs. Simmons' attitude, Miss Kelly?
Not unusual.
Mr. Dowd, if this was an ordinary delusion, something reflected memory picture. In other words, if your sister was seeing something she had once already seen, then that would be one thing. But this is serious. It stands to reason that no one has ever seen a rabbit 6 feet high.
Not very often, Doctor.
I like you, Dowd.
I like you too, Doctor. And Miss Kelly here. I like her too.
So, she must remain out here temporarily. Under these circumstances, I'd commit my own grandmother.
Oh, does your grandmother drink too?
It's just an expression. Now, will you sign these temporary commitment papers as next of kin?
Oh, you better have Vita take care of that. She does all the signing and managing for the family. She's good at it.
She can't be disturbed right now.
Well, perhaps I'd better talk it over with Judge Gaffney then.
Explain it all to him later. Tell him I advised it. And it isn't as if you couldn't come out and make inquiries any time. Glad to have you. I'll make out a full visitor's pass. When would you like to come back? Wednesday, say? Friday, say?
You and Miss Kelly have been so pleasant. I can come back right after dinner. About an hour?
Ooh, we're pretty busy around here, but
I don't really have to go. I'm not very hungry.
glad to have you stay. Miss Kelly and I must get on upstairs. Plenty of work to do. But I tell you what you might like to do.
What might I like to do?
Just so in your mind your sister's in good hands, why don't you take a look around? If you go through that door, you'll find the occupational therapy room down the hall. And beyond that, the conservatory, the diet kitchen, and the library.
Well, for Vita's sake, I believe I'd better do that, Doctor.
Very well, then. It's been a great pleasure having this little talk with you.
Oh, I've enjoyed it too, Doctor, meeting you and Miss Kelly.
And I will say that for a layman, you show an unusual acute perception into the psychiatric problems.
Well, is that a fact? Oh, I never thought I knew anything about it. Nobody does, do you think?
The good psychiatrist is not found under every bush.
You just have to know which bush to look under. Well, since we all seem to have enjoyed this so much, why don't we keep right on? I'd like to invite you both down to Charlie's place with me to have a drink. When I enjoy people this much, I like to stay right with them.
We're on duty. Give us a rain check some other time. Be glad to.
Oh, when?
Miss Kelly and I don't get off work until 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, let's go to Charlie's place at 10 o'clock tonight, then.
Well,
Oh, and you, Miss Kelly?
Dr. Chumley doesn't approve of staff fraternizing. But you've been so understanding, I suppose we could manage it.
Oh, I'll pick you both up at 10 with a cab, and we'll spend a wonderful evening together. I'd like you both to become friends with a very dear friend of mine. You said later on, so later on it'll be. Goodbye now.
Now I can breathe again.
Boy, that was a close shave, all right. But he seems pretty reasonable. That man is proud. What he has to be proud about, I don't know. But I played up to that pride. You can get to almost anybody if you want to. I must look in on this Simmons lady now.
Dr. Sanderson, you say you can get to anybody if you want to. How can you do that?
Take study, Kelly. Years of specialized training. There's only one thing I don't like about this Dowd business.
Oh, what's that?
Having to make this date with him. Oh, I suppose he left here as a good friend and a booster of the sanitarium. So I guess I'll have to go. But you don't have to go.
Oh.
No point in it, really. I'll have a drink with him, pat him on the back, and leave. Got a date tonight anyway.
Oh yes, by all means. I didn't intend to go anyways. The idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere again. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What's the matter with you, Kelly? What are you getting so emotional about?
He may be a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knows how to act. His manners were perfect.
I saw you giving him that doll puss stare. I didn't miss that.
Oh, he wouldn't sit down till I sat down, and he told me I was lovely, and he called me dear. And I'd go have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Of course he would, and look at him. All he does is hang around bars all day. He doesn't work, and all that corny bowing and getting up every time a woman makes a move. Why, he's as outdated as a cast iron deer. But you'd sit with him, let him flatter you. You're a wonderful girl, Kelly.
Now let me tell you something. You don't think you're this big
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly,
Yes, doctor?
tell the gardener to prune more carefully around my prize daisies by the main road. They'll be ready for cutting next week. Now, the difficulty of the woman with the large white rabbit has been smoothed over.
Yes, doctor. I spoke to her brother. He seemed reasonable.
I've had many patients out here who claim to see animals, but never had a patient who claimed to see an animal quite so large.
Yes, doctor. She called him a Harvey.
Harvey. Unusual name for any kind of animal. Harvey's a man's name. Why, I have known several men in my day by the name of Harvey, but never have I heard of any animal whatsoever by that name. This case has an interesting phase, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
I will now go upstairs with you and check in on this patient. Perhaps we could use my formula 977 on her. I'll give you my advice in prescribing the treatment, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Now, may I ask, what is this hat and coat doing on the table here? Whose is it?
I don't know. Was it Dowd's, Miss Kelly?
Mr. Dowd had his hat on. Perhaps it belongs to a relative of one of the patients.
There may be some kind of identification in here. What's this? What's this? 2 holes cut in the crown of his hat. See?
That's strange.
Some new fad. Put him away, hang him up, get him out of here.
Hello, Dr. Chumley.
Oh, there you are.
How is every little thing?
Fair. Thank you, Wilson. Fair.
Look, Doctor, someone's gonna have to give me a hand with that Simmons thing. Order a strain jacket or something. She's terrible. Forgot about me, didn't ya? Well, I got her coursed off all by myself.
We're on our way up there right now, Wilson.
Oh, well, she's in the bathtub. Oh my God. Oh, the water running on her.
Willie, remember your promise. Oh, hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, you haven't forgotten about Dr. McClure's cocktail party? We promised them faithfully.
That's right. I have to go upstairs and check in on my patient right now. I'll be down shortly.
Oh, give a little quick diagnosis, Willie. We don't want to be late for the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Oh, good evening.
I am Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
Well, I'm glad to know that. Dowd is my name, Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards. Now, if you want to call me at that one. But don't call me at that one. That's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
What did you have in mind?
You seem to be looking for something.
Oh, yes, I'm looking for Harvey. I went off without him.
Harvey. Is he a patient here?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Does he work here?
No, he's what you might call my best friend. He's also a hookah. He came out here with me and Vita this afternoon.
Well, where was he when you last saw him?
Well, in that chair there with his hat and coat on the table.
There doesn't seem to be any hat and coat around here now. Perhaps he left.
Well, apparently, I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you said earlier? Hookah?
That's it.
Is that something new?
Oh, no, as I understand it, that's something very old.
Oh, really? Well, I had never happened to hear it before.
Well, that doesn't surprise me too much. I hadn't heard of it myself until I met him. I do hope you get the chance to meet him, Mrs. Chumley. I'm sure he would be quite taken with you.
Oh, really? Well, that's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Oh, not at all. If Harvey takes a liking to someone, he expresses himself most definitely. If he's not too particularly interested, he just sits there like an empty chair or an empty space on the floor. Well, it takes his time making his mind up about people. Choosy, you see.
That's not such a bad way to be this day and age.
Well, Harvey likes my sister Vita. Well, that's because Harvey likes me, and Vita and I come from the same family. You'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? But Vita doesn't seem to care too much for Harvey. Don't you think that's rather too bad, Mrs. Chumley?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Dow. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends. It's useless.
Well, we must keep on trying.
There's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey said to me once, he said to me a million times, "Oh, Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you." Mrs. Chumley,
Yes?
did you know that Mrs. McElhenney's Aunt Rose is going to be dropping in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland?
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh, neither does she. That puts you both in the same boat, doesn't it?
But I don't know anybody named Mrs.
Oh, Mrs. McElhenney lives next door to us. She's a wonderful woman. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose this afternoon. That's a little interesting news item, isn't it? You're perfectly free to pass that around.
Well,
Would you care to come downtown with me, my dear? I'd be glad to buy you a drink.
thank you very much. But I'm waiting for Dr. Chumley, and if he came down and found me gone, he'd be liable to rage. He'd be irritated.
Oh, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I'll tell you what I'll do.
What will you do? I'm interested.
If your friend comes in while I'm still here, I'd be happy to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I'd certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. I'll write it down on the back of this card. What would you like me to tell your friend if he comes in while I'm still here?
Tell him to meet me downtown if he has no other plans.
Meet Mr. Dow downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Oh, he knows where. Harvey knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey what?
Oh, just Harvey.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, what?
Doctor and I are going right downtown to 12th and Montview. Dr. McClure is having a cocktail party.
A cocktail party at 12th and Montview.
We're leaving there in just a few minutes. We could give your friend a lift into town.
Oh, I'd hate to impose on you. I'd certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Dr. McClure is having this party for his sister from Wichita.
Well, I didn't know Dr. McClure had a sister from Wichita.
Oh, you know Dr. McClure.
No.
But
Oh, are you sure you can't come downtown with me, my dear? I really would be glad to buy you a drink.
I really couldn't. But thank you just the same.
Perhaps another time?
Thank you.
It was pleasant meeting you, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yes, so do I.
Oh, goodbye. You can't miss Harvey. He's very tall. Like that.
That Simmons woman is uncooperative. She refuses to admit she sees this large white rabbit, insists it's her brother. Well, give her 2 of these at 9, another at 10, and she continues to be so restless. Another trip to the hydro room at 8, and one morning at 7. Then we'll see if she won't cooperate, won't we, Doctor?
Yes, Doctor.
You know where to call me if you need anything. Ready, Pet?
Yes, Willie. And, oh, Willie,
Yes?
there was a man in here earlier. A man named, oh, let me see. Oh, here it is. Dowd. Elwood P. Dowd.
That's Simmons' brother. I gave him full visiting privileges and told him to look around.
She mustn't be seen by anyone tonight. Not anyone at all. Tell him that.
Yes, Doctor.
He didn't ask to see her. He was looking for someone. Some friend of his.
Who could that be, Dr. Sanderson?
I don't know.
He said it was someone he came out here with this afternoon.
Was there anyone with Dowd when you saw him, Miss Kelly?
Not when I saw him, Doctor. Well, he said there was. He said he last saw his friend sitting right in that chair there with his hat and coat. He seemed quite disappointed. Dr. Sanderson! I told him if we located his friend, we could give him a lift into town. He could ride in the back seat. Was that all right, Willie?
Of course, of course.
Oh, here it is. I wrote it down in the back of his card. His friend's name was Harvey. Harvey? He didn't give me his last name. He mentioned something else about him. Puka, but I didn't quite get what that was.
Harvey!
He said his friend was very tall. Well, why are you looking like that, Willie? This man was very nice, a polite man, and he merely asked that we give his friend a lift into town. And if we can't do a favor for someone, why are we living?
How long ago was he here? Which way did he go?
Give me the hat. By George, we'll find out about this.
I don't know where he went. Just a second ago.
Main gate? Henry, Dr. Sanderson.
Gaffney, Judge Gaffney.
Was there a man in a brown suit? There was! He's gone!
Hello, Judge. This is Dr. William Chumley, the psychiatrist. I'm calling to make a routine checkup on the spelling of one of our patients' names before entering them into our records. You called this afternoon about having one of your patients committed. How's that name spelled? With a W, not a U. Mr. Elwood P. Dowd? Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson, I believe your name is Sanderson.
Yes, Doctor?
You know that much, do you? You went to medical school. You specialized in the study of psychiatry. You graduated. You went forth. Perhaps they forgot to mention that a rabbit has 2 long pointed ears, and a hat for a rabbit will have to be perforated to make room for those ears. That means cut, Doctor.
Dowd seemed reasonable this afternoon.
Doctor, the function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who talk and act reasonable. Do you know what you've done to me? You don't answer. I'll tell you. You've allowed a psychopathic case to walk off these grounds with an overgrown white rabbit. You subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation of calling of all things a lawyer to find out who came out here to be committed and who came out here to commit.
Doctor,
One moment. Wilson, I want you. Now I'm going to have to do something I haven't done in 15 years. I'm going to have to go out and find this patient, Mr. Dowd, and bring him back here. And when I get back, your connection with this institute is ended at that moment. Wilson, get the car. Pet, call him McClure, tell him we can't make it. Miss Kelly, come upstairs with me, and we'll get that woman out of the tub.
Yes, Doctor. I'll have to tell the cook we'll be home for dinner. She'll be furious. Wilson,
Yes, ma'am?
what is a puka?
A what?
A puka.
You can search me, Mrs. Chelmer.
I wonder if it'll be in the encyclopedia here. They have everything here. I wonder if it'll be a lodge. Or what is it? Oh, I don't dare to stop to do this now. Dr. Chumley won't want to find me still here when he comes down. He'll rave. Oh dear.
Puka, P-O-O-K-A. Puka, from old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit in animal form, often very large. Puka appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one, at his own caprice. A wise but mischievous creature, very fond of rum pots and crackpots. And how are you doing, Mr. Wilson? How are you doing, Mr. Wilson? Who in the encyclopedia would want to know? Oh, to hell with it.
That's right. The stairs at the end of the hall. It goes to the 3rd floor. Go right up. I'll be there in just a minute.
Well, where is she?
Where's who? How do you mean, Judge Gaffney? Sit down, won't you?
I mean your mother. Where is Vita Louise?
Why, Judge, you know where she is. She took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium.
I know that, but then why did she call me at the club with a lot of hysteria? Couldn't even get what she was talking about, carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on? What about?
I don't know. She was hysterical.
That's strange. She took Uncle Elwood out to the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it? I'll be right up. They found it.
Who? Found what? What are you talking about?
When Mother left with Uncle Elwood, I went over to the real estate office to put the house on the market. And what do you think I found there?
I'm not a quiz kid.
I found a man there who was looking for an old house just like this in the Buffet Apartments. He's going through it now.
Now see here, Myrtle Mate, this house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
But with Uncle Elwood locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where is your mother? Where is Vita Louise?
Judge, she went to Chumley's Rest to tell them about Harvey and put Uncle Elwood in.
I know that. But then why did she call me at the club when I was in the middle of my game and scream at me to meet her about something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Have you got the deed to the house?
Certainly. It's in my safe. Myrtle, I feel pretty bad about this whole thing of locking your Uncle Elwood up.
Mother and I will be able to take a long trip now, out to Pasadena.
I always liked the boy. He could have done anything, been anything, made a place for himself in the community.
And all I did was get a big rabbit.
He had everything. Brains, personality, friends. Men liked him, women liked him, I liked him.
Are you telling me that once Uncle Elwood was like other men, that women actually liked him? I mean, in that way?
Oh, not since he started running around with this big rabbit. But they did once. Once that mailbox of your grandmother's was filled with those little blue-scented envelopes for Elwood.
I can't believe that.
Of course, there was always something different about your Uncle Elwood.
I don't doubt that.
He was always so calm to any sudden change in plans. I used to admire it. I should have been suspicious. Take your average man looking up and seeing a big white rabbit, he'd do something about it, but not Elwood. He took to that calmly too, and look where it got him.
You don't dream how far overboard he's gone on this rabbit.
Oh, yes, I do. He's had that thing in my office many a time. I'm old, but I don't miss much. What's that noise?
The perspective bar on the 3rd floor. I thought I'd never see either of you two again. Take hold of her, Judge. She looks like she's going to faint. Now, Mother, you're all right. You're going to be perfectly all right.
Steady, girl, steady.
Oh, please, not so fast.
Don't rush her, Myrtle. Ease her in.
Oh, let me sit down. Only get me to some place where I can sit down.
Would you like some tea, Vita? Get her some tea, Myrtle.
Oh, I'll get you some tea, Mother. Get her coat, Judge.
Let Myrtle get your coat, Vita. Get her coat, Myrtle.
Oh, leave me alone, both of you. Let me sit here. Let me get my breath.
Let her get her breath, Judge.
Only let me sit here for a moment. And let me go upstairs to my own bed where I can let go.
What happened to you, Mother?
Omar, I want you to sue them. They put me in and Elwood out.
Mother!
What's this?
Look at my hair.
But why? What did you say? What did you do? You must have done something.
Oh, I didn't do one thing. I simply told them about Elwood and Harvey.
Then how could this happen to you? I don't understand it.
Oh, I told them about Elwood, and I went down to the taxi to get his things. And as I was walking along this path, this awful man stepped out. Oh, he was a white slaver, I tell you. Oh, I know he was. He had on one of those white coats. That's how they advertise.
Man. What did he do, Mother?
What did he do? He took a hold of me and took me in there. And he... Oh!
Poor Mother. Was he a young man?
Myrtle May, perhaps you should leave the room.
Now, I should say not. Go on, Mother.
Go on, girl.
He took a hold of me and took me upstairs and tore my clothes off! Did you hear that, Judge?
Go on, Mother.
And then he sat me down in a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle May? This man took a hold of me like I was a woman of the streets. Oh, but I fought. I always said that if a man jumped at me, I'd fight. Haven't I always said that, Myrtle?
She's always said that, Judge. That's what Mother always told me to do.
And then he took me in that sanitarium and sat me down in that tub of water and began treating me like I was a what? A crazy woman! Oh, but they did it just out of spite.
This place stinks to high heaven, Vita. By God, it stinks.
Oh, and then those doctors came up and started asking questions about sex urges and all that filthy stuff. That place ought to be cleaned up, Omar. You better send the authorities to clean that place up. Oh, now don't you ever go there, you hear me?
I will, girl. By God, I will. If Chumley thinks he can run an unsavory place like this on the outskirts of town, why he'd be publicly chastised. I'll run him out of the state, by God.
Oh, tell me, Judge, is that what doctors do in places like that? Think about sex.
I don't know.
Oh, because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their head anyway. Why don't they go out for long walks in the fresh air? Judge Gaffney took long walks for years, didn't you, Judge?
Now let me take some notes on this. You said these doctors came up to talk to you. Dr. Chumley and what was the other doctor's name?
Sanderson. Oh, but don't you pay any attention to anything he says. He's a liar. Close-set eyes. They're always liars. Besides, I told him something in strict confidence, and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
Oh, let's forget about it. I don't want to talk about it. You can't trust anybody.
Now, Vita, anything you told this doctor, you can tell us. This is your daughter, and I am your lawyer.
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it. I want to sue them, and I want to get into my own bed.
But Mother, and this is the important thing anyway, where is Uncle Elwood?
Oh, I should have known better than to try to do anything about it. Something always protects him, that awful hookah.
Where is he? Answer me!
I don't know where he is. They let him out. They're not interested in men at places like that. Oh, don't look so naive, Myrtle May. What is that?
I've found a buyer for the house.
What?
Now listen, Mother, no matter who jumped at you, we still got to lock up Uncle Elwood.
I told you I don't know where he is. The next time you take him, Judge. Oh, wait till Elwood hears what they did to me. He won't stand for it. Don't forget to sue them, Omar. Oh, Myrtle. All I hope is that never, never, as long as you live, does a man tear the clothes off of you and sit you down in a tub of water.
Now see, Mother muffed up everything. No matter what happened out there, Uncle Elwood is still out wandering around with Harvey.
The thing for me to do is take some more notes.
This is all Uncle Elwood's fault. He found out what she was up to, and he had her put in. Then he ran.
Oh no, don't talk like that. Your Uncle Elwood thinks the world and all of your mother. Why, ever since he was a little boy, all he wanted to do was share everything he had with her.
I won't give up. We'll get detectives. We'll find him. And besides, you better save some of that sympathy for me and Mother. You don't realize what we have to put up with. Wait till I show you what he brought home about 6 months ago when we hid it out in the garage. Just wait till I show you, Judge.
I'm going up to talk to Vita. There's more in this than she's telling. I sense that.
Just wait till I show you.
I'll wait.
Okay. Is he here?
What's this?
That crackpot with the rabbit. Is he here?
No, and who may I ask are you?
Yeah, here, Doctor. Dr. Chumley's coming in anyway.
Well. Chumley, I've got something to say to him.
What's your name?
Judge Gaffney, where's Chumley?
The reason I asked is Doc always likes to know who he's talking to. This guy says his name is Gaffney. Judge Gaffney, Doctor.
Well, Chumley.
Hello, Judge. Now let's not waste time. Has he been here?
Who? Elwood? No, but this was...
Sure he ain't been here. He's wise now. He's hiding. It'll be an awful job to smoke him out.
It will be more difficult, but I'll do it. They're sly, they're cunning, but I always get them. Do you have the list of places we've already been, Wilson?
Right here, Doctor.
Read it.
We've been to 17 bars. Eddie's Place, Charlie's Place, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 10th, 11th, and 12th Avenue Firehouse, and just to make sure, the Union Station and the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy ride a grain elevator?
The foreman is a friend of his. He has many friends, many places.
The reason we stopped by is we want to ask Mrs. Simmons if she has any suggestions as where we might find him.
Dr. Chumley, I must inform you that my client, Miss Vita Louise Simmons, has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
A suit for this business this afternoon.
A suit.
Yes, and while we're on the subject...
That's pretty, ain't it, Doctor? Us dragging your tail over town looking for that guy.
What happened this afternoon was an unfortunate accident. I discharged my assistant who made it, and I'm prepared to take full charge of this man's case. His case has interested me, and my interest in the case is worth no amount of money can buy. You can ask any of them.
But this business this afternoon, Doctor...
Water under the dam. That's how I see this thing. I see it this way. Now, the important item is to find this man and take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right, that's just what I think.
Let me introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons, Mr. Dowd's niece, Miss Simmons' daughter.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
Hello, Mrs. Simmons.
Hello, Myrtle.
What? Oh.
Now, may I please speak to Mrs. Simmons?
She won't come down, Doctor. I know she won't. You try to get Mother to talk to him, Judge.
Now see here, your mother was manhandled. She was, by God knows what she was. But the man's approach to her was not professional. It was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Dr. Chumley, I've been with you for 10 long years. Are you really going to take the word of this, what's your name?
Judge Gaffney, Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thanks. Are you really going to take the word of this old blister Gaffney?
Wilson!
Me? Me and the dame who sees a rabbit?
It's not Mrs. Simmons who sees the rabbit. It's her brother.
Yes, it's Uncle Elwood.
Now, if you'll come with me, Doctor.
Of course, Judge. Wilson, I have a serious situation here. Wait for me.
Okay, Doctor. So, your name's Myrtle May?
What? Oh, yes.
And if we catch your uncle, you're allowed to come down to the sanitarium on visiting days?
I don't really know.
Well, if you do, I'll be there.
You will?
And if you don't see me right away, stick around. I'll show up.
You will?
You, heard the doctor coming away?
Yeah.
Tell you what, while I'm waiting here, I sure could use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Certainly. Don't forget me, I will precede you.
Yes, sir, Mother May. You're all right.
What?
The doctor knows it right away. He don't miss a trick. Tell you something else, Myrtle.
What?
Not only you got a nice build, the kids, you got something else.
What?
You got the screwiest uncle who ever stuck his pussy in something else.
Hello, Chumley's Rest. Is Dr. Chumley there? Oh, it's Mrs. Chumley. Oh, how are you tonight, my dear? Oh, this is Elwood P. Dow. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, tell me, were you able to locate Harvey? No? Oh, no, that's fine, that's fine. I'll find. I'm sorry to have missed your McClure cocktail party, my dear. The people were all very charming, and I was able to leave quite a few of my cards. Oh, I didn't leave until you telephoned and told me a patient had escaped the asylum. Pardon? Oh, where am I? Well, I'm here, Mrs. Chumley, but I must be leaving. I have to go find Harvey. Goodbye. My regards to you and anyone else you happen to come across. Goodbye.
Doctor, I'm suing you for $50,000, and that's fine.
But Mrs. Simmons.
Yes? All right.
Miss Simmons, this picture on the mantle.
That portrait happens to be the pride of this house. Oh, some man, I forget his name. He came around for the sittings, and we paid him, and he left. Hello? Yes. No, this is Dexter 1567.
I suppose if you have the money to pay people, you can persuade them to do most anything.
Dr. Chumley, when you helped me out of that tub at your place, what did I say to you?
You expressed yourself. I don't remember the words.
I said, Dr. Chumley, this is belated civility. Isn't that what I said?
You said something of the sort.
Well, you brought this up. You might as well learn something quick. I took a course in art this last winter. The difference between a fine oil painting and a mechanical thing like a photograph is simply this. A photograph shows only the reality, while a painting shows not only the reality, but the dream behind it. Oh, it is our dreams, Doctor, that separate us from the beast. Why, I wouldn't want to go on living if I thought it was all about eating and sleeping and taking my clothes off. Well, putting them back on. Oh, Doctor, hold me!
Everything's gonna be all right. Don't get excited. Now, what's the matter?
Doctor, that is not my mother!
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, Dr. Elwood's been here. He's been here.
Why don't you just be quiet? I'll get that. Hello? Who may I ask who's calling? Mrs. Simmons, it's Tim. It's your brother.
Oh, let me speak to him.
Don't tell him I'm here. Be casual.
Hello, Elwood. Yes, dear, where are you? Oh, just a minute. He won't say where he is. He wants to know if Harvey is here.
Tell him Harvey is here.
But he isn't.
Tell him Harvey's here. That will bring him to us. Perhaps humor him. We have to humor them.
Hello, Elwood. Yes, dear, Harvey is here. Why don't you come home? All right. It won't work. He's asking to call Harvey to the telephone.
Tell him Harvey's here, but can't come to the phone right now because he's in the bathtub.
Bathtub?
Tell him he's in the bathtub, and you'll send him over as soon as he's done. That way, we'll find out where he is.
Oh, Doctor.
Mrs. Simmons, you have to do this.
Hello, Elwood? Yes, dear. Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone right now. He's in the bathtub. I'll send him over as soon as he's dry. Oh, where are you, Elwood? Where, Elwood?
Did he hang up?
Harvey just walked in the door. He told me to look in the bathtub, that it must be a stranger. Oh, but I know where he is. He's at Charlie's place, that bar over at 12th and Main.
12th and Main. That's 2 blocks down and 1 over, isn't it?
Oh, Doctor, where are you going?
I'm going down there to get your brother and take him back to Sanitarium where he belongs.
Oh, no, Doctor, don't do that. Send one of your attendants. I'm warning you.
But Mrs. Simmons, if I am to help your brother.
He can't be helped. There's no help for him. Oh, he must be picked up and locked up and left.
You consider your brother a dangerous man?
Dangerous?
Why?
Oh, I couldn't tell you why, but if I didn't think he was, why would I be asking for a permanent commitment for him?
Then I must observe this man. I must see the expression on his face as he talks to the rabbit. He does talk to the rabbit, you say.
They tell each other everything.
What was that?
I said, of course he talks to him. Oh, but don't go, Doctor. You'll regret it if you do.
Nonsense, Mrs. Simmons. You underestimate me.
Oh, no, Doctor. You underestimate my brother.
If you have nothing to worry about, I can handle it.
You can handle it. That's what you think. Oh, Myrtle May, see who's in the bathtub?
Thank you. I may call later.
What about the stuff in your room, Doctor? Upstairs?
All packed. Thanks, Wilson.
Stuff you're getting bounced.
Those are the breaks.
When you taking off?
As soon as Dr. Chumley gets back.
Kelly, did you get that report back yet from that desk sergeant at the Police Accident Bureau?
Not yet. I just talked to the downtown dispensary. They haven't seen him.
Getting smell awfully funny to me. 4 hours has been gone and not a word from him. Look, Doctor, I don't know when I'll see you again, so I want to wish you the best of luck. I'm awfully sorry getting a kick in the rear.
Thanks, Wilson. Good luck to you, too.
Look, Kelly, let me know when you get that report back. Because if he doesn't show up, I'm going to have to go out looking for him. You should know better than going to town looking for some psycho without me.
I'd like to help look for the doctor, too, Wilson.
That's how we swallow you, Doc. Right after he gave you the brush.
I have no resentments. He was right. I was wrong. Dr. Chumley is the biggest man in his field, and it's my loss not to be able to work with him, not his.
You're not so smart yourself, Doc.
Thanks, Wilson.
Don't mention.
Dr. Sanderson.
Yes.
Well, Doctor, I'd like to say that I wish you a lot of luck too, and I'm sorry to see you leave.
Are you sure you can spare those good wishes, Miss Kelly?
On second thought, I can't. Forget it.
This is for nothing, just a little advice. But I'd be careful of the kind of company I kept.
I beg your pardon, Doctor.
You don't have to. I told you it was free. I saw you last Saturday night dancing with that drip at the Rose Room in the Frontier Hotel.
Oh, really? I didn't notice you.
I'd be careful of him, Kelly. He looked like a schizophrenic all the way across the floor.
You really should have given him a second thought, Doctor. He was my date, not yours.
That was his mentality. And as for the rest of them, well...
She was beautiful, though.
Who?
That girl you were with.
I thought you didn't notice.
I couldn't help it. You bumped into us twice.
Not that it makes a difference, but that girl's a charming little lady. And she has a sweet, kind disposition. And she knows how to conduct herself.
Funny, she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I don't suppose you're to be censured for that flippant hard shell of yours. Probably compensating for something.
I'm not. Don't try to use any of your psychiatry on me.
Or if I could use something else on you just once to see if you'd melt under the circumstances, I doubt it.
Oh, you'll never know, Doctor!
Because you interest me as a case history, that's all. I'd like to know where you get that inflated ego.
Why? If you weren't the meanest person. Case history? Inflated ego?
Don't run away, let's finish this.
Leave me alone!
Gladly.
Chumley's Rest. Yes, Sergeant. No accident report on him either in town or the suburbs. Look, Sergeant, maybe we better just... Oh, never mind, they're here now. Mr. Dow.
Good evening. This is for you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's fresh, too. I just picked it outside.
I hope Dr. Chumley didn't see you. They're his prize roses. Did he go upstairs?
Oh, not knowing, I cannot state. That color is lovely against your hair.
Thank you. I've never worn burnt orange. It's such a trying color.
You would improve any color, my dear.
Thank you. Did Dr. Chumley go to his house?
Oh, I don't know. Where's Dr. Sanderson?
In his office over there, I think.
Thank you.
Now, there you are!
Well, I have a cab waiting outside if it's possible for you and Miss Kelly to get away now.
Where's Dr. Chumley?
Oh, is he coming too?
I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
nice.
I don't know, Doctor. I don't know, Doctor.
I must apologize for being a few seconds late. I thought Miss Kelly should have some flowers. You know, Doctor, after this afternoon, those flowers should really be from you. As you grow older and pretty women pass you by, you'll think with deep gratitude on the generous girls of your youth. Shall we go now?
Just a moment, Dad. The situation has changed since we met this afternoon. I urge you to have no resentments. Dr. Chumley is your friend, and he only wants to help you.
Well, that's very nice. I'd like to help him too.
Now, if you take a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle. We all must face reality, Dowd, sooner or later.
Doctor, I wrestled with reality for 40 years, and I'm happy to state that I finally went out over it. Oh, won't you and Miss Kelly join me now down at Charlie's?
Here you are. Upstairs, buddy. We're going upstairs.
Oh, there must be some mistake. Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly and I are going down to Charlie's place to have a drink. Oh, I'd be glad to have you join us, Mr.
Wilson?
Oh, Mr. Wilson. They have a lovely floor show.
Oh, really? You should see the floor show we've got. Upstairs, buddy.
Just a moment. Where did you say Dr. Chumley has gone?
Oh, as I said before, he didn't confide his plans in me.
You mean the doctor ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked through here by himself.
Oh, he did, eh? Listen, you talk fast or I'm working you over.
Well, I'd rather you didn't do that, and I'd rather you didn't say such things in front of a lovely young lady like Miss Kelly.
Dowd, Dr. Chumley went into town to pick you up. That was 4 hours ago.
Where has the evening gone to?
Listen to that. Smart, huh?
Just a moment. You said you did see Dr. Chumley tonight?
Oh, yes, I did. He came into Charlie's place at about dinner time. Oh, it is a cozy spot. Why don't we all go down there and discuss it over a tall one?
We're going no place. Now listen, you better button up your lip and give me some straight answers, because if you don't, I'll beat it out of you.
What you suggest is impossible.
What's that?
Oh, you suggest that I button up my lip and give you some straight answers? Oh, it can't be done.
Well, handle it already. Find out if the doctor's okay.
Dr. Chumley was at Charlie's place, you say?
Oh, yes, he wasn't, and I was that much more glad to see him.
Go on.
Well, he asked for me, and naturally the proprietor brought him over. We exchanged the conventional greetings. I said, well, how do you do, Dr. Chumley? And he said, well, how do you do, Mr. Dowd? I believe we said that at least once.
Okay.
I'm only trying to be factual. I then introduced him to Harvey.
To who?
A white rabbit, 6 feet tall.
6 feet.
Oh, 6 feet 1.5.
Okay. Fool around with us. The doctor's probably offline someplace, bleeding to death in the ditch.
Oh, if those were his plans for the evening, he didn't tell them to me.
Go on, Dowd.
Well, Dr. Chumley came over to sit with us. I was seated on the outside of the booth, like this. Harvey was on the inside near the wall, and Dr. Chumley was directly across from Harvey where he could look at him.
That's right. Spend all night on the seating arrangements.
Well, Harvey suggested that I buy him a drink, and knowing that Harvey doesn't like to drink alone, I suggested to Dr. Chumley that we join him.
And then?
We joined him.
Then what?
Well, we joined him again.
After that?
Well, we just kept right on joining him.
Skip all the joinings.
Oh, you're asking me to skip a very large portion of the evening this morning.
Tell us what happened. Come on, please.
Well, Harvey and Dr. Chumley got into a conversation. Oh, quiet at first, but later on it became rather heated and Dr. Chumley raised his voice.
Yeah? Why?
Well, Harvey seemed to think that Dr. Chumley should assume some of the financial responsibility of the joining, but Dr. Chumley didn't seem to want to take any part of that.
I can believe that part of it.
Let this guy talk. He's got guts.
Well, I agreed to take the whole thing on because I didn't want any trouble. We go down to Charlie's often, Harvey and I. The proprietor's a fine man with an interesting approach to life. But then the other matter came up.
Cut the damn double talk and get on with it.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, I'm sure you are a very sincere type of person, but I'm going to have to ask that you don't use that type of language in the presence of Miss Kelly.
We're sorry, Dowd. You said the other matter came up?
Oh, yes. There was a lovely young blonde woman, a Mrs. Smethels, with her escort, seated in the booth directly across from us. Oh, Dr. Chumley went over and sat next to Mrs. Smethels, explaining they had met once in Chicago. Well, then her escort escorted Dr. Chumley back over and tried to point out that he should mind his own affairs. Does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Oh, does he have any affairs?
How would I know?
Oh, Mr. Dowd, won't you please hurry? We're all so worried.
Well, Dr. Chumley urged Harvey to join him to Blondie's Chicken Inn, but Harvey wanted to go to Eddie's bar instead. Well, they were arguing. I went to the bar to get a drink, and when I came back, they were gone.
Where'd they go? I mean, where'd the doctor go?
Well, I don't know. I had a date with Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly, and I had to pick them up. Oh, I was hoping we'd run into the doctor and Harvey and make a party of it.
So you're satisfied? You got his story. Okay, buddy, you're lying and we know it.
Well, I never lie, Mr. Wilson.
You've done something with the doctor, not finding out what it is.
Don't touch him, Wilson.
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
That's all this guy is. It's a bunch of lies. You two don't believe the story he tells about the doctor sitting there talking to some big white rabbit, do you?
Maybe Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
It's all big white rabbit, I suppose.
Oh, and why not? Harvey was there. Dr. Chumley seemed frightened of Harvey at first, but that gave way to admiration as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That's a lovely expression, isn't it? With your permission, I'll say it again. The evening wore on.
And with your permission, I'm gonna knock your teeth out your throat. Oh.
Mr. Wilson, don't you have any old friends you can play with?
The nerve of this guy. He couldn't come in here with an ordinary case of the DTs. No, he had to bring a big, stupid rabbit with him.
Well, as stimulating as this all is, I really must be getting back downtown.
Charlie's place? Is Dr. Chumley anywhere around there? He was there earlier in the evening with Mr. Dowd. What? Oh, well, don't bite my head off! My, that man was mad. He said Mr. Dowd was welcome at any time, but his friend was not.
Well, that's Mr. McNulty, the bartender. Well, he likes me quite a bit. Why don't we all go down there and have a drink?
Now, wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd.
Oh, yes, my dear? May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Mr. Dowd. Poor Mrs. Chumley is so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Now, isn't there something else you could try to remember? Please?
Well, for you, my dear, I would do anything. I'd almost be willing to live my life over again. Almost. But I've told it all.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. But ask me again, won't you? I like that warm tone you had in your voice just then.
So did I.
Oh, nuts.
What?
Nuts!
Oh, I really must be getting back downtown. I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd, what is it that you do?
Well, if you'll have a seat, Miss Kelly. Harvey and I sit in the bars, we have a drink, we play the jukebox. Soon the faces of all the other people turn to mine and they smile. They're saying, "We don't know your name, mister, but you're a lovely fellow." Harvey and I warm ourselves in all these golden moments. We've entered as strangers, and soon we have friends. They come over to us, they sit with us, they drink with us, they talk to us. They tell us of all the terrible things they've done, all the wonderful things they will do, their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates. All very large, because no one ever brings anything small into a bar. And then I introduce them to Harvey, and he's bigger and grander than anything they could ever offer to me. And when they leave impressed. Well, the same people seldom come back, but that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us. Too bad, don't you think?
Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Oh, that's his name, Doctor.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Well, that's quite the interesting coincidence, Doctor. One evening several years ago, I was walking down Fairfax Street between 18th and 19th. Do you know the block?
Yes.
I had just helped Ed Hickey into a taxi. Ed had been mixing his rye with his gin, and I felt he needed some conveying. Well, I started walking down the street, and I heard this voice behind me say, "Oh, good evening, Mr. Dowd." Well, I turned, and there was a great white rabbit leaning against a lamppost. Oh, I didn't think anything of it, because when you've lived in a town as long as I've lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everyone knows your name. So naturally, I went over to chat with him, and he said, "Oh, could I be mistaken, or was Ed Hickey a little spiffed this evening?" Well, of course he was not mistaken. I think the world and all of Ed, but he was spiffed. So we stood there, and we talked, and finally I said, "You have the advantage over me. You know my name, and I don't know yours." And he said right back to me, "Which name do you like?" Well, I didn't have to think for a second. Harvey's always been my favorite name, so I said to him, "Harvey." And this is the interesting part of the whole thing, Doctor. He said to me, "Well, what a coincidence. My name just happens to be Harvey."
What was your father's name?
John Frederick.
When you were a child, you had someone you were very fond of, a playmate, that you spent many carefree hours.
Of course, Doctor, didn't you?
What was his name?
Ed McElhenney. Do you know the McElhenneys, Doctor?
No.
Oh, too bad. There was a lot of them and they circulated. Wonderful people.
Think carefully, Dowd. Wasn't there someone, somewhere, sometime of whom you knew by the name of Harvey? Wasn't there anyone who you ever knew by that name?
No, not one. Maybe that's why I always had such hopes for it, Doctor.
Come on, Wilson, we'll take Dowd upstairs now.
I'm taking him no place. You've made this your show. Let me sit there, talk away, getting all about the poor doctor. This is your show. You run it.
Come on, Dowd. Oh, come on, Elwood.
Oh, very well, Lyman, but I'm afraid I won't be able to stay and visit long. I promised Harvey I'd take him to the floor show.
Oh, boy. Dr. Chumley, are you all right?
All right? Of course I'm all right.
Lock the door. I'm being followed.
Who's following you?
None of your business. Wilson! Wilson!
How'd you get all the way out there, Doctor? I just saw you going there.
Climbed out through my window. Wilson, don't leave me.
No, Doctor.
Get the man Dowd out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
Wilson, don't leave me.
What you just said.
Don't be on the phone.
No, Dumfrey, Wilson. Get that man down here right away.
Don't leave me, Wilson.
Just a minute, Doctor. Dr. Chumley. Judge Gaffney?
I want to speak with Chumley.
Hi, I'm Myrtle.
What?
Chumley, Dr. Talk, this thing is serious.
It certainly is.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go to talk?
Not in there.
The doctor doesn't want anybody in his office right now.
Well, then sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle.
Sit down, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, little maid. Wilson, don't leave me.
Doctor, here are my notes. Can anybody hear me?
Oh, we can all hear you. Is that a good thing?
Dr. Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might be something like this rabbit Harvey?
Of course not. And anyone who thinks so is crazy. Well, don't look at me like that. There's nothing funny about me. I'm like my father's side of the family. They're all dead.
Now then, my client, the plaintiff, Miss Vita Louise Simmons, swears under oath that on the morning of November 2nd, while standing in her kitchen, upon hearing her name called, turned and saw the great white rabbit Harvey staring at her. Resenting the intrusion, she made certain remarks that drove the animal from the room.
What did she say to him?
She was emphatic. The remarks are not important.
I want to know what she said to get this creature out of her sanitarium. I mean home.
I hate to have to tell you, Doctor. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Quit stalling, you get on with it.
Well, she looked him right in the eye and screamed in the heat of anger, "To hell with you!"
To hell with you. He left?
He left. But that's beside the point. My point is it perjury or something we can cope with? I ask your opinion.
Ruthie, I've been looking all over for you.
Dr. Sanderson, disregard what I said earlier this afternoon. I want you back on my staff. You're an astute young man.
Oh, Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby!
I'll see you.
You just have to keep Uncle Elwood out here, Doctor.
No, I want my sanitarium the way it was before he came out here this afternoon.
Know what you mean.
You do?
Well, it certainly gets on anyone's nerves the way Uncle Elwood always knows what's going to happen before it happens. Take, for instance, this afternoon, he told us that Harvey told him that Mrs. McElhaney's Aunt Rose was going to drop in on her unexpectedly from Cleveland tonight.
Did she?
Did she what?
Aunt Rose, did she stop in just like Harvey predicted?
Oh, yes. Those things always happen the way he says they will. And what of it? What do we care about the McElhaneys?
You say this sort of thing happens often.
Oh, yes. And isn't it silly? Uncle Elwood says Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. How could he if there's no such thing as Harvey?
Fly specks. I've been living among fly specks while miracles have been leaning on lamppost 18 of Fairfax.
Good. Nobody here but people.
Mother, you promised you wouldn't come out here.
Now, Myrtle, I brought your Uncle Elwood's bathrobe. Well, what are you all just standing here for? I thought you'd be committing him.
Sit down there, girl.
I will not sit down there.
Say, Myrtle May, how about me and you go out Saturday night?
Certainly not. Myrtle may come here.
Sorry.
Now then, is it settled?
It will be.
Doctor, may you give an opinion?
Yes, do, by all means.
His opinion? Omar, that's the doctor I was telling you about. The eyes.
Doctor, it is my opinion that Elwood P. Dowd is suffering from a third-degree hallucination, and that the other party involved is a victim of auto-suggestion. I recommend Formula 977 for him and bed rest for
You do.
That's my diagnosis. After this injection, Mr. Dowd won't see the white rabbit. It's worked in hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Don't you call my brother a psychopathic case? There's never been anything like that in our family.
If you didn't think Uncle was psychopathic, then why'd you bring him out here?
Well, where else could I take him? I couldn't take him to jail, could I? Besides, this thing is not your uncle's fault. Why did Harvey have to speak to Elwood in the first place? With a town full of people, why did he have to bother Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in. Keep your oar out. If this shock formula brings people back to reality, give it to them. That's where we want Elwood.
I don't think this procedure would work in a case of this kind, Doctor.
It always has.
But Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does?
Yes. But if you give him the formula and he doesn't see Harvey, then he won't let him in. And then when he comes to the door, I'll deal with him.
Mother, why don't you stop talking about Harvey as if there was such a thing?
Oh, Myrtle, you've got a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Here he is.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Elwood. I brought you your bathrobe.
Thank you, Vita.
What are we going to do, Doctor? We've got to do something.
Oh, yes, we must.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative.
Well, while you're all deciding, why don't we go down to Charlie's place and have a drink?
You are staying right here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
Stay here, son.
Well, I plan to leave, and you all want me to stay. Oh, an element of conflict in any discussion is a good thing. It means everybody's taking part and no one is being left out. I like that. How did you get along with Harvey, Doctor?
What is your answer, Doctor?
What?
What is your decision?
I must be alone with this man. Will you all please step outside? I'll have my diagnosis in a moment.
Do hurry, Doctor. Elwood, you stay here.
Mr. Dowd, can I give you this chair? How about a cigar? Is there anything else I can get you?
What did you have in mind?
Mr. Dowd, what kind of man are you?
Oh,
Where are you from?
Oh, didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where on the face of this tired old world did you find a creature like him?
Harvey the Puka?
Is it true that he has functions, that he...
Oh, gets advance notice? I'm happy to say it is. Harvey's versatile. He can stop clocks.
What?
Oh, you've heard the expression, his face would stop a clock.
Yes, but to what extent? What purpose?
Harvey says that he can look at a clock and stop it. And you can go wherever you'd like, with whomever you'd like, for as long as you'd like. And when you come back, not 1 second would have ticked by.
You mean that he actually...
Einstein's overcome time and space. Harvey's not only overcome time and space, but any objection.
Does he do this for you?
Oh, he's willing to at any time, but so far, I've never been able to think of a place I'd rather be. Oh, I have a fine time wherever I am, with whoever I'm with. I'm having a wonderful time with you right now, Doctor. Corona, Corona.
I know where I'd go.
Where?
Akron.
Akron.
There's a cottage camp outside a grove of maple trees. Cool, green, beautiful.
My favorite tree.
I'd go there with a pretty young woman, a quiet woman, a strange woman.
Under a tree?
I wouldn't even want to know her name. I would be just Mr. Brown.
Oh, why wouldn't you want to know her name if you were acquainted with any of the same people?
I would send out for cold beer and tell her things. Things I haven't told anybody. Things locked up in here. Then I'd send out for more cold beer.
No whiskey?
Beer is better.
Well, maybe under a tree, but what if she wants a highball?
I won't even want her to talk to me. I just want her to sit there and listen. And as I talk, reach out a soft white hand and stroke my head and say, "You poor thing. You poor, poor thing."
And how long would this go on for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Well, wouldn't that get monotonous? Just Akron, cold beer, and poor, poor thing for 2 weeks?
No, it would be wonderful.
Well, I can't help but feel you're making a mistake in not letting the young lady talk. If she gets around it all, she might have picked up some interesting news items. But I'm certain you're making a mistake in all that cold beer and no whiskey. Oh, but it's your 2 weeks.
Cold beer at Akron and one last fling. God, man.
Oh, doctor, would you like to lay down?
No. Mr. Dowd, would he do this for me?
Well, I've never heard Harvey speak a word against Akron. By the way, doctor, where is Harvey?
Don't you know?
Well, last I saw him, he was with you.
Ah.
Oh, I know. He's probably waiting for me down at Charlie's.
That's it. He's down at Charlie's.
Oh, excuse me.
No, Mr. Dowd. Not in there.
Well, I'd like to say goodbye to my good friend, Dr. Sanderson.
Dr. Sanderson is not your friend. None of those people are your friends. I'm your friend.
Well, thank you, doctor. And I'm yours.
And that sister of yours, she's at the bottom of this. This afternoon, she brought her commitment papers. She's got your power of attorney, your safety box key. She brought you out here.
She did that and all this afternoon? Well, Vita certainly is a whirlwind.
Don't you have any righteous indignation?
Doctor, my mother always said to me, in this world, Elwood, she always called me Elwood, you must either be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. For years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me on that.
Nonetheless, I will protect you, even if I have to commit your own sister. Would you like me to do this?
Oh, no, doctor, not unless Vita wanted it that way. Oh, not that you don't have a fine place out here. I just think that Vita'd rather be at home with me and Harvey and Myrtle May. Oh, Miss Kelly, a diviner grace has never brightened this enchanting face. Ovid's fifth elegy. My dear, you will never look lovelier.
And I'll never feel happier, Mr. Dowd. I know it.
Wow.
Yes, doctor.
I wonder if I'll be able to remember the rest of that poem.
Say, this rabbit gag must be a good one. Kelly never kissed me.
Ovid's always been my favorite poet.
Okay, pal, you're discharged. This way out.
Wilson, take your hands off Mr. Dowd.
What?
Apologize to Mr. Dowd.
Apologize to him, but that's the guy with the rabbit.
Apologize. Apologize.
I apologize. That's the door.
Well, if I leave, I'll remember.
One more. Do women often come up to you and kiss you just like Miss Kelly did?
Oh, every once in a while.
Yes?
Oh, I encourage it too.
To hell with decency. I gotta get that rabbit. Go ahead and knock.
Thank you. Oh, Dr. Sanderson, before I let
Just a moment, Dowd. Doctor, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes. Call them all in.
Mrs. Simmons, Judge Gaffney, would you step in here, please?
Is it settled?
I find I concur with Dr. Sanderson.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a relief.
Good boy.
Well, let's celebrate. I have some new bars listed in the back of this book.
This injection carries a violent reaction. I can't give it to him without his consent. Will he give it?
Of course he will if I ask him to.
To give up this rabbit? I doubt it.
Don't ask him. Just give it to him.
Blondie's chicken in, Bessie's barn in. Well, better late than never.
Elwood.
Well, let's go to Bessie's barn in. Oh, I suppose we ought to telephone ahead for a table. How many would you say we have, Vita?
Oh, Elwood!
Mr. Dowd, I have formula 977. That'll be good for you. Will you take it?
Elwood, you won't see this rabbit anymore.
But you will see your responsibilities, your duties.
Well, I'm sure if you thought of it, Doctor, it must be a very fine thing. If I happen to come across anyone who needs it, I'll recommend it. But as for myself, I wouldn't care for it.
Do you hear that, Judge? Do you hear that, Doctor? That's what we have to put up with.
Oh, do you want me to take this, Vita?
Oh, Elwood, I'm only thinking of you. You're my brother and I've known you for years. Oh, I'd do anything for you. That Harvey, he wouldn't do anything for you. He's making a fool out of you. Elwood, don't be a fool.
I won't, Vita.
Why, you could amount to something. You could be sitting on the western water slope or right now if you don't go over there and ask.
Well, all right, if that's what you want. Harvey and I will go speak with them tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I don't want to see another tomorrow. Not if Myrtle May and I have to live at that house with that rabbit. Our friends never come and see us anymore. We have no social life. We have no life at all. We're both miserable. Oh, I wish I was dead. But I guess you don't care.
always wanted Vita to have everything she wants. Are you sure this is what you want, Vita? I'll take it. Oh, where do I go, Doctor?
In Dr. Sanderson's office.
Say goodbye to the fellow for me, won't you?
How long will this take, Doctor?
Only a few minutes. Why don't you wait?
We'll wait.
Dr. Sanderson said it wouldn't take long.
Oh, Mother, don't fidget.
Oh, how can I help it?
Stunning. Mother, could you see me in a house coat of this material?
Yes, dear. But let me get a good night's sleep first.
Come in. What do you want? I'm looking for a short little... Oh, there you are, lady. You jumped out of the cab without even paying.
Oh, yes, I forgot. How much is it?
All the way here from town? $2.75.
$2.75? Oh, well, I swore I could have brought it. Myrtle, do you have any money?
I spent the money Uncle Elwood gave me on my new hairdo for the party.
Oh, Judge Gaffney, do you have $2.75 we could give this man?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Oh, Dr. Chumley, do you have $2.75 I could borrow to pay this cab driver?
Haven't got my wallet on me. Gotta get on with this injection. Sorry.
Well, we'll have to get it from my brother, but we can't get it right now. He's in there to get an injection. But it'll only be a few minutes. You'll have to wait.
You're gonna get my money from your brother, and he's in there to get some of the stuff they shoot out here?
Yes? Oh, but it'll only be a few minutes.
Lady, I want my money now.
Oh, but I said it would only be a few minutes. Besides, I want you to drive us back to town anyway.
And I told you I want my money now, or I'm nosing the cab back to town and you can wait for the bus at 6 in the morning.
Why, of all the pig-headed, stubborn things?
I should say so.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing $2.75 wouldn't fix. You heard me. Take it or leave it.
Oh, I've never heard of anything so unreasonable in my life. Dr. Chumley, will you let Elwood step out here for a moment? This cab driver won't wait.
Don't be too long.
Oh, Elwood dear, I came off without my coin purse. Would you give this man $2.75? But don't give him any more. He's been very rude.
How do you do? Dowd is my name. Elwood P.
Lofgren's mine, EJ.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Lofgren. This is my sister, Vita Simmons, my charming niece, Myrtle May. Judge Gaffney and Dr. Chumley.
Hi.
Have you lived in the area long?
Yeah, I've lived here all my life.
Do you enjoy your work?
It's okay. I've been driving for Apex cabs about 15 years. My brother Joe's been driving for Brown pretty near 12.
You drive for Apex and your brother Joe for Browns. Well, that's interesting, isn't it, Vita? Oh, Mr. Lofgren, let me give you one of my cards.
Better hurry this up, Mr. Dow.
Oh, certainly. 1 minute. Oh, Mr. Lofgren, I live here at this address with my sister and my niece. Well, won't you and your brother join us for dinner sometime?
Sure, be glad to.
Oh, when? When would you be glad to?
I couldn't come any night but Tuesday. I'm on duty all the rest of the week.
Well, then we'll expect you on Tuesday night and be delighted to see you. Well, won't we, Vita?
Oh, Elwood, I'm sure this man has friends of his own.
One can't have too many friends, Vita.
Don't keep Dr. Chumley waiting, Elwood. That's rude.
Oh, of course. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Lofgren. Keep the change. Will you excuse me now?
Sure. Sweet guy.
Certainly, you could have just as well have waited.
Oh no, listen lady, I've been driving this route for years. I bring them out here to get stuff, take them back after they've had it. It changes them.
Well, I certainly hope so.
And you ain't kidding. On the way out here, they sit back and relax. Sometimes they talk to me. Sometimes we stop and watch the birds. Sometimes we watch the sunsets. Sometimes we watch birds when there ain't no birds and watch sunsets when it's raining. But we always have a swell time and big tips. But afterwards, oh.
Afterwards, what do you mean afterwards, oh?
Oh, the crap. Tell me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections. They got no faith in me or my buggy, but it's the same driver, same cab, and we're going back over the very same road. It's no fun. And no tips.
Oh, but my brother would have tipped you anyway. He's very generous, always has been.
Not after this he won't be. He'll be a perfectly normal human being. And you know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. I'll wait.
Myrtle May! Oh, Judge Gaffney, stop it! Don't give it to him! Get him out of there!
You can't do that. Dr. Chumley's already started the injection.
Oh, Mother, stop it! I don't want Elwood to have it. I don't want Elwood like that. I don't want people like that.
Do something with your judgment, Mother. Stop it!
Shut up! Oh, I've lived longer than you have. And I remember your father. I remember my father. Oh, I remember.
What's this? What's all the commotion?
What's the trouble, doctor? She's sounding off again.
She wants to stop the injection.
Oh, you haven't given it to him yet, have you?
No, but we're ready.
Oh.
Wilson, take Mrs. Simmons away.
Oh, get your hands off me! Leave me alone, you white slaver!
You don't know what you want. You didn't want this rabbit either.
And what's wrong with Harvey? So what if Elwood and Myrtle May and I want to live with Harvey? It's nothing to you. You don't even have to come around. It's our business. Elwood! Oh, Elwood!
There, Vita. Vita's done a lot today. She's all tired out.
Fine, have it your way. But I'm not giving up my game at the club again, no matter how big the animal is.
Come on, Elwood. Let's get out of here. I wish I'd never seen this place. I hate this place.
But see here.
Oh, it's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
Oh, that's funny. I must have been here the entire time. I could have paid that cab driver myself. Harvey! Come along, Elwood. Come along, Myrtle May. Hurry up.
Good night, Doctor. Good night, Mr. Wilson.
Come along, Elwood.
You know, Doctor, for years I've known what my family thinks of Harvey, but I've often wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. Well, there you are. Oh, excuse me, Doctor. Mr. Wilson, you're standing in his way. Where have you been? I've been looking all over